to know how to evacuate, how to get things up to be more secure and safe. This is very important for them. They have to make sure there is proper air circulation and the toxic gases released from the mines are removed easily, nicely, so that it doesn't create unnecessary health hazards. So people who work in this field need to work in small areas, sometimes in remote areas. They are sometimes hazardous in nature. They should have patience, endurance, very hard working to achieve these goals. Let us talk about petroleum engineers. These are engineers who look for where we can extract petroleum around. And they also talk about how to get petrol, how to refine it, how to provide the needs there. They should be cost effective, very important. These people might need to work in off-site, on-site, different places. They might need to extract or find out or explore the presence of oil, the presence of crude oil at different places, maybe in the sea, maybe in the forest, a desert maybe, a mountain maybe. So they might need to work at different areas So they should have the feeling to look at things in detail. They should have an inclination to work in detail. Their work area normally ends up in refineries and marketing, maybe in petrochemical units. They can also end up in transportation of transportation of the oil. And there are various degrees available. Postgraduate diploma or BTech is available in petroleum, industrial chemistry, oil, fats and wax, paints and varnishes. These are relevant to one another. Other than that, if you talk about petroleum, mining and geosciences, there are different courses you can do. Someone can do mining and petroleum engineering, and he can end up in places like in an industry which goes and finds where these resources are. They might end up in design, they might end up in R&D, they might end up in how to protect the environment from the hazardous materials or gases released from these mining sources. Geoscience engineers can know how to find out whether there are some oil contents in a rock. They might end up as a petrophysical specialist, field petroleum engineer or a drilling engineer or a production engineer or a reservoir engineer. And there are also ONGC, Coal India Limited, who are look for BTech, mining and metallurgy. So you can study these courses there. Indian School of Mines is a popular institution which conducts courses in drilling, fuel, minerals, mine planning, applied geology, geophysics, petroleum and also various applications like. Let us talk about plastic, polymer and rubber technology. Plastic is vital. It is used heavily by people nowadays. So you got to look for how do you get plastic, how do you generate, how do you produce plastic material. And it is nowadays needed at different levels of different applications like. You also have to find out how to develop fire resistant plastics. And rubber technology is also popular because it is needed in various mechanical and electronic equipments like we use them. And we have to look for the capability or the flexibility of the rubber. You also have to look for how could it stand wear and tear, can be stood for long in a rubber. So plastic engineers have to work in different locations. Sometimes they need to work and talk with plenty of customers as well. And very importantly, someone who wants to venture into this field should have a very good mechanical aptitude. You should also have creativity inclination to decide. You might need to work in different places because plastic is applied at different areas. So you might need to be in different places as well. There are plenty of courses available. You can do BE, BTech. You can have postgraduate diploma in plastic engineering or processing and testing. There is also mold design. There is a special institute called Central Institute of Plastic Engineering and Technology at Chennai, where you can do plenty of courses there. Then let's talk about ceramic technology. Here, the scientists or the engineers who work with ceramics, they talk about how to use clay and other materials which come from the earth. So they work with brick industry, cement industry, tiles industry and pipe industry, for example. So they have to think about complex chemical processing. So they have to talk about how to extract things, how to make sure these things are strong enough that can withstand the necessary need of the equipments like. So you have to work in research, design, production and testing like. You might need to work in various factories, probably in research laboratories as well. Person who is interested in ceramic technology should have very good understanding about chemistry. You should also have logical thinking to decide. And there are plenty of courses which talk about how to use clay effectively or design it effectively. Next field you are going to see is about textile technology. This is a technology where there are plenty of R&D involved, manufacturing involved, merchandising involved. Because people like textile, it is used in our daily life. You have to be very careful with the quality of the textile. Not only the quality, but also you have to look for the way it appears like. Whether it is attractive, whether it is good to wear in a specific weather, specific environment, we have to look for all these things. So the job environment of a textile engineer or textile specialist looks more into problem solving. He has to be working in a team for sure, and he has to be very strong in analytical thinking. So we have to look for the strength of the fabric, we have to look for quality control, someone have to go into customer sales, and there are plenty of stages in textile industry. There is yarn preparation, yarn production, weaving is there, knitting is there, dyeing is there, and finishing of the product is there, processing of the fiber is there. There is also machinization, where we develop machines to do these jobs in textile industry. And there are plenty of associations available. One common association is the Synthetic and Art Silk Mills Research Association, SISMIRA. Next we are going to look at packaging industry. Packaging every product you have, you need to package it nicely. Whether you want to send it locally, whether you want to export it, import it, it has to be packaged nicely. This is important. So you need to have plenty of skills. You need to know how to package so that a glass doesn't break, a plastic does not get affected, a wood is not broken, and all these things has to be taken care of. There is also a specific institute called Indian Institute of Packaging Technology in India. Let's talk about leather technology. Leather technology, there are two important tasks here. One is how do you process the raw leather to get a finished leather, and second one, to make it as a nice tool, like nice products, to make it appear nicer, to design it nicer. Let's say a slipper for example, or a shoe for example. It has to be in a proper design that people like it, it looks attractive as well. So leather technologies normally work in tanneries. They have to be practical, they have to work in maybe a kind of messy environment sometimes, might not be a good smell around, but they have to work with all these things. So someone who wants to work in this area should have a very strong very strong chemistry feeling. You should have an inclination to work and think about it. You should also be able to adapt to the environment. You might need to have very good communication skills because you got to contact plenty of customers to get their view whether this thing is attractive, what is attractive to the people, and so on. You can learn into quality of control, you can learn into the production industry, you can also look for leather tanning, how do you get the necessary things. So there is also a specific institute called Institute for Footwear Technology. There is NIFT in New Delhi, there is CLRI in Chennai, there is Footwear Design and Development Institute in Noida, Central Footwear Training Institute, Agra. There are plenty of other institutes as well. Let's talk about railway industries. Railway engineers are in need of plenty because Indian Railway is one of the biggest institutions in the world now, and you will see there are plenty of professionals needed, professionals who will develop new engines, who will help in the production, who will help in the maintenance of the system like. So Indian Railway Service has in need of mechanical engineers, signal engineers, electrical engineers, and engineers as well. So there are plenty. Indian Railway Store Service is there. The engineering entrance exam or engineering services exam is conducted by UPSC. And there are plenty of institutes. Two common ones are Institute of Permanent Way Engineers, Institute of Rail Transport. Let's talk about some technicians. Well, wherever there are engineers, there are technicians who will assist them in assembly, repairing, and making sure the equipment are in order. So someone who has to have more of practical experience than theoretical strength. So normally the technicians work in labs, in a workbench area. They have to work precisely with good patience enough. Sometimes they need to work in some hazardous environment if it is related to chemistry or other fields like. And they have to be working as a team like. A technician cannot repair a whole device himself. He might need to do partially, another part might be done by somebody. A technician should have very strong mathematical and mechanical aptitude. He should be able to debug things like he should be able to go into and analyze what they are. there are plenty of technician opportunities available, courses available. Aeronautical